Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by.
Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. Today is Monday. It is May 12th and it is 6 p.m. and we are starting our weekday series now of interviewing candidates who are running for office or re-election. Today we have a special guest with us, and because she has a hard stop, and she's a very busy woman like I am, she has a hard stop today at 6:30, so we're going to get right to interviewing her. Please make sure you put your questions in the chat and she'd be glad to help answer those with us. So no further ado, Councilwoman Ina Vernikov, thank you for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Marianne.
You're welcome. So Councilwoman Ina Vernikov, she is running for city council. She is an incumbent, so she's running for re-election. Take out your pens and mark down these dates because her primary is like everyone else's, is June 24th. And early voting starts on the 14th of June through the 22nd, and your primary day is June 24th. So only Republicans can vote in that primary election, correct?
Correct.
Very good. So we got to make sure we get out the vote for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about you. And also I'll preface this. You are one of our healthcare champions. You are a supporter of New York City retirees, as we have asked candidates that are supporting us if they would support our three issues, is to preserve the healthcare benefits that were promised to us, specifically our federal public health benefit of Medicare and our city paid supplement that was statutorily provided to us. The second issue was that we wanted to make sure our Medicare B reimbursements was reimbursed to us more timely. That time schedule is 16 to 22 months later. So in April, we just got the payment back from January 24 to December of 24. And then the third thing is, as you may know, employees and retirees, our healthcare dies the day we die. And we wanted a 30 or 60-day grace period. That way, our dependents, after we pass, have a little time to secure health benefits for them. So Councilwoman Vernikov is a supporter of New York City retirees. She is committed to helping us support that. And yes, she is on Interim 1096. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you tonight. Thank you so much, Marianne, not just for having me, but for being such a champion for New York City retirees. You've been incredible. I've listened to you. We've met. We've been at the hearing together. You've been an incredible voice for the retirees. So thank you so much for doing that. I don't know where we would be without you on this issue, really. So I'm Councilwoman Ina Vernikov. I represent the 48th Council District. This is going to be my fourth year actually in the council. Like Marianne said, my re-election is, my primary is June 24th and the general is in November. So I'm on the ballot for June 24th. Early voting is 14th to the 22nd. I represent a district starting from Brighton Beach all the way to Midwood. There are about 100, and now with the new map, I think it's a little less, but 170 something thousand New Yorkers, very diverse communities. And we've been doing a great job together with the Common Sense Caucus, which supports you as well. Common Sense Caucus includes both Democrats and Republicans. It's a great caucus. We work on issues together. We introduce legislation together. We write letters together. We fight together. We go to rallies together. We don't always agree on every single issue, especially with our Democrat colleagues, but most often we do, and we are really proud of our work that we have done so far. On this issue of the retirees and healthcare, When I personally found out about what's happening, I was really shocked and dismayed by it. I think it's particularly egregious what the city is trying to do to all of you. I think it's a betrayal of people who spent their lives investing and working for the city, potentially giving up other opportunities and other jobs. And we're given a promise. We're given a contract, a promise that I know they believed in. And now the city is backtracking and trying to, excuse my language, screw you out of what they promised you. So I think that is unjust, unfair, and disgusting, quite frankly. And from the very beginning, as you mentioned, Marianne, I supported you guys. I signed on as prime co-sponsor onto, I think it was Intro 1099, then with
Right.
a very unlikely bedfellow, Charles Barron, who I couldn't disagree with more on everything else, pretty much. But on this issue, I supported him. And now I am one of, and I think you had 18 co-sponsors on
Right.
that one. And I guess some were successfully peeled off, and now there's 15, and I'm one of 15. I remember I signed the pledge card. I mean, really, whatever you guys need on this, we were on. I was on the amicus brief as well, fighting
Yes.
this issue with you guys. And I just want to reiterate the commitment to keep supporting you and the 3 items that you mentioned. And I just want to say, because I want you guys to hear it from me, I definitely support the protection of retirees' access to the traditional Medicare and Medicare supplemental plan that was promised to you. I support the making the timing faster for reimbursements to retirees, on the Part B reimbursements, beginning with lower income retirees, so you don't have to wait over a year for the promised reimbursements. And of course, I support through executive action or legislation the creation of the 30 or 60-day grace period for a grieving family to seek other health insurance upon death of a retiree. And also just want to, commit to maintaining a working relationship with you guys, and open door policy. Whatever you need, I'm here for you when it comes to this issue. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do want to actually clarify something you said that I forgot, was that you were also one of the council members that was on an amicus in our case, this case that we are actually going to court this week on.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, if you guys can keep us posted on that too, because as you all know, there's so many issues going on, and there's also so many court cases that we're involved in, not necessarily through an amicus brief, but we follow all kinds of court cases, so we can't always follow everything in the news and in court. So if you guys can just keep us posted on that, I would love to follow that issue as well.
I will. We're taking about 100 retirees with us on Thursday up to court. We're leaving from 250 Broadway at about 9 o'clock in the morning. So you'll see, if you're at City Hall on Thursday, you'll see 2 big buses in front of 250, and we're taking about 100 of our retirees with us to Albany for court. Court will start at 2 p.m. We should be done by 2:30, and then we're going to drive back home. So It's going to be a long, long day for just a half an hour in court. But
what is the hearing on?
So this is the final appeal. Mayor Eric Adams had appealed his 2 lower losses from the Supreme Court and the appeals court. And so now we head up to the New York State Court of Appeals, the highest court in the state, to defend our 2 lower wins. He has now lost 11 times across 3 cases, including 3 unanimous appeals decisions. Yeah. So this case, Benkowski, is the critical one, because this case, what we called the nuclear option, was where the mayor was trying to eliminate all the choices of healthcare plans, which was agreed to, by the way, by the Municipal Labor Committee, unfortunately our former unions, for those of us that were in unions, to eliminate all choices of our healthcare plans to bulldoze us into managed care, the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan, and with no choices, nothing. And that was it. And the 2 lower courts said, no, you can't do that. They were promised Medicare. So now we head up to the New York State Court of Appeals. This is 7 judges now. The appeals court was 5. This is 7. And we have to get a majority of the 7 to agree that the lower courts were correct.
Okay. And I wish you luck in court, and I'm sure you're going to be victorious.
I hope so. And as I keep telling the council, I don't have to preach to you because you're on our side, but as I keep saying to them, even if we win, our 1099 must be 1096 must be passed, because they're going to keep trying to force these costs onto us that would end up ultimately forcing us into managed care. Their backdoor premiums, their co-pays and deductibles that are ever increasing, that the unions are imposing on us with management to finance them. That's got to stop. And this closes the pocketbook, which is why they're so against it. It doesn't violate collective bargaining. It's not illegal. It's none of that. But those are all the excuses that they keep coming up with, even though it's not. It can't interfere in bargaining because we're not in a bargaining unit. It doesn't touch the Taylor law, none of that. But what it does do is it closes our pocketbook. They can't keep putting their hands in our pocket and assessing costs onto us that benefit them. And that's where they're angry. So that's why we keep telling the council, help us out, because you'll only end up hearing from us on Christmas and Hanukkah. We won't keep knocking on your door and calling you, but this is the right thing to do. So we're hoping that they get that message, because even if we win this, and we won't know that day either, we won't know for maybe 1 to 6 months-ish or so that they've made this decision. There's no time frame that they have to make a decision. Typically, some of those decisions come in within a month, but if they could take their time.
Yeah, understood. Thanks.
You're welcome. So here's a question from Marie Para. It's a long one. It says, as a city council member, when you vote on a bill, who advises you of the expense in dollars and cents, what the bill will cost to the city, and would that be a factor in your decision of approving or sponsoring a bill? In regards to I think she means para bill, Maria's a para. Do you have an idea how much annually this will cost the city? Additionally, in reference to the para bill, are you aware that you're asking to give paras a non-pensionable money, which is really a negative impact on their future pensions?
Okay, so first of all, not every bill involves cost.
Okay.
But in terms of para bill and amounts, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I could definitely get back to you on that.
Okay. Sometimes I think
it's council finance that has the estimates. That's where we get the numbers from.
Okay. I think when we were playing with those numbers, it was like $280 million. When we spoke with Councilwoman Narcisse last week, I think she explained to us that the council could pass the bill, but it ends up being funded by the mayor, if I got that right.
It could be that way. Yes, it could work that way. And there's also a fiscal impact statement that, it's available publicly.
Okay, we'll take a look and see if that's attached to the bill. And because she explained that there's a possibility that your council could pass a bill, but if it's not funded, it's an unfunded bill, which still leaves it not going into play technically, if I understood her correctly.
Yes, that makes sense. Yes.
Okay, John says, Ina, I discussed 1096 with council member David Carr, the usual excuses. The speaker's against it. It's contractual. I don't want to open up a Pandora's box. Can you talk some sense into him?
Well, I talk to Councilmember Carr almost every day, but I can't speak for him.
Okay.
So, you guys are free to reach out. We always discuss these issues, and sometimes we disagree. I don't know what Councilmember Carr thinks about the bill.
Okay, we'll have to work on that one. We have the same issue with Susan Zwang. She hasn't supported us on this either, which has been very disappointing. Let's see. Here's another one. Ellen says, we had one retiree whose wife provided his city insurance and she unexpectedly died. This put the widower in the hospital with no coverage. So thank you for supporting us on this issue to provide a good period of time for the remaining spouse to be able to find insurance or figure out if he or she can afford COBRA. So COBRA is the cost of COBRA is 102% of the premium. So it's what the city pays for our health care plus 2% administrative fee. That's what she's referring to. So she's appreciative that you would help us get that kind of time to negotiate that. She also has another statement. The city uses the law department to fight us in court. We retirees have searched for coins behind the sofa cushions to pay for our legal costs to protect our healthcare. Yes, Ellen, we have been doing this.
Sometimes they use the law department to fight us also.
Yes. Isn't that horrible? It's like our own tax dollars are going to being used to fight us.
Yep. They should provide you money for your counsel to fight them.
So you think maybe we should ask Eric Adams for a donation?
Why not? He owes it to you.
David says, thank you for your integrity and your support. Carol appreciates your support as well.
Thank you.
Let's see. Ellen says, we may be old, but we show up to defend our rights. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we have to do. Jeanette, respect you for standing by the city retirees from the beginning. And you have. When we did 1096, you did get on the bill. And that was tough because we had a really hard time. A lot of the electeds were afraid of getting on our side because they were being intimidated by the speaker and also the UFT, Henry Garrido and Michael Mulgrew, who I guess some of the council members are pretty scared of. I think we've kind of showed them that they shouldn't be scared of them. Some of them I think are still afraid. I'm not really sure.
Someone just sent me this this YouTube. I don't know whose it is, but it's from DC 37. I guess online meeting, or somebody recorded it. And in the very beginning, I guess, I don't know who is talking, but he says, "Oh yeah, we don't have any sway with Councilmember Vernikov." That's because I am unbought.
Unbought and unbossed.
Yes, unbought and unbossed. You can't buy me. You can't sway me. That's the thing. So
isn't that wild? That is, let me tell you, when we were given, we get stuff leaked to us all the time. And I love when we heard that gentleman said, that was John Hislop from DC 37, said, we have no sway over Vernikov, and he couldn't even say your name, which drove me crazy. And I think he's like head of the librarians. And then he says, but we do have sway over Councilwoman Lynn Shulman. And I was like, which drives me crazy as chair of health. And her spouse, Adelaide, was my lieutenant up in the Bronx. It infuriates me to see this, that she was more concerned with endorsement from DC 37 and the Labor Strong Coalition rather than doing what's right by the people. So we do appreciate you for standing by us and not being bought and bossed around.
You guys really do a good job at holding politicians who sell out to be accountable. So
do we?
Yeah, no, you do, really.
Thank you for saying that, because we get told we're bullies.
That's sometimes what you got to do.
I see. Go to the
hold
fight.
Others accountable.
Well, that's it, holding them accountable. And I don't think that they expected that to happen. Look, they bullied us, right? And they just don't like being bullied or called out. We called it debunking bullshit. We actually had a page on our website where whenever stuff would come out, do you remember in December when they put out that arbitrators report and it was an order?
Yes, actually, if you remember in the hearing, I called them out on that.
Yes, you did.
I don't know if you remember that, but
I do.
That specific part of this whole, that it was an order, is it an order, is it not an order? If it is an order, do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Thank you. And I want to tell you.
It's on my social media if anybody wants to watch it. I don't recall when that hearing was. Maybe it was in December of last year.
It was January of 2020, January 9th of 2023. And that statement came out in December of 22. So just like a couple weeks before.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to, if anyone has 5 minutes at some point, it can watch the snippets of the hearing where I called them out on that.
Well, guess what? The 2 weeks ago, the Municipal Labor Committee filed litigation against the city of New York. And one of the things that they mentioned in their litigation against the city was that the Scheinman report was a recommendation.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah.
So they lied and you and a few of your peers called them out on it, as did we. And then they got away with it from the others who believed it was a order and demand or award, and it wasn't. It was a
Yeah.
scare tactic, and we called it from the get-go, and so did you. Thank you for that.
Sure. Yeah, you reminded me of that. It also helps. It helps when you're an attorney.
Yes.
You can.
Well, let me say something about that. Thank you for bringing that up. There are about a dozen attorneys in the city council.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn Shulman is an attorney. Shona Abreu.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm going to send you guys the list. There's about 12. Julie Menon is an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I think Oswald Felice is an attorney. There's a lot of lawyers in the council, and yet very few of them. When we did the 1099, and it was literally 2 sentences, and I saw Julie Menon in Somos, and I said to her, "Are you going to get on the bill? It's November." And she said, "I'm still reading it." And I said, "It's 2 sentences. How much do you need to read?" Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So it's not that difficult. Let's see. David Schatz says, "Thank you for your integrity and support." I think I put that one up already. Our union dues is also used to pay city lawyers to fight us in court. Yes, you're right. Especially if you're a retiree that pays a loyalty dues to a union. Absolutely. My assembly rep's office called me and told me that the pension scheme is not in the New York State budget. Yes, Mike, so the state budget came out and it did not, that pension Ponzi scheme that the UFT and DC 37 were trying to squeeze in there did not make it in there. What he's referring to is that they were trying to do this backdoor deal where they would reduce what the city had to pay to fund our pensions. For current retirees, they were safe, but this was for future. So it was like it's a re-amortization, which is like a refinance of like a mortgage, so to speak. And it would reduce what the city had to pay and lengthen out the term of when they had to pay it back. So it would technically put like future retirees, like your pension, potentially at risk, especially with the up and down that we're seeing in Wall Street today. That should be the last thing that that should happen. So Ellen says, City Council member Vernikov is aware those of us who are not in your district talk to other retirees in your district via Facebook, X, etc., and let them know to vote for you. We're very grassroots. Yes, she knows that, Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
We will, absolutely. We just helped Frank get elected. We were very excited about that. Frank's been another supporter, Morano, and
thank you for that.
I think his inauguration is tomorrow, or swearing in is tomorrow, I believe. Yes, I do remember Ina calling out the so-called recommendation in front of City Council. She absolutely did. So that's exactly been the problem. They scared everyone into thinking that this report had to be followed, that it was an order and an award, and it wasn't. And we were so glad, including our attorneys, to see that in the lawsuit that the Municipal Labor Committee just filed against the city, that they say that the Scheinman report was a recommendation, like we had said the entire time.
It was so clear too. It's like black and white in there, and I guess they just think that they could take advantage of people who may not understand or may not know, or or that you're stupid. Right, we're smarter than that.
Yes, thank you. They don't expect to be called out about that.
No.
But Ellen's making another point too that I should bring up, that the pension scheme that was promoted by UFT and DC 37, that the fire and police pension plans did not agree to join it. So there's 5 pension systems, 3 civilian and 2 uniform, 1 fire pension system, a police pension system. There's New York City Employees Retirement System, which you would be a member of, and then teachers retirement system and Board of Ed retirement system. So those 3 civilian ones were part of this pension Ponzi scheme. When we found out about this, it was literally, we were tipped off about it a couple months ago. And the purpose was, like I said, was to reduce what the city had to pay so that UFT and DC 37 could use that money for their stabilization fund. They keep trying to come up with another way to do this, but literally putting other people at risk. And when we got tipped off about that, retirees who used to work in OMB, OLR, and at NYCERS were very concerned about this. And then we reached out to the unions and they said, well, I said, when did this start? And they said, when did you win the Benkowski case? That case we're going to court next this week. And we said spring of 23. And they said, well, that's when the language first hit the governor's office, was spring of 23 to be effective in 2024. When it didn't make it in that version of the bill, they brought it back this year. And I said, why isn't police and fire on it? And they said, you'd have to talk to them. So when we went to them, they told us that UFT DC 37, the mayor, had approached them to do this, and that they did not want any part of this because they were done with all these backdoor deals that Mulgrew and Garrido had done from 14 on.
Yeah,
so
leave it to unions like UFT and Z37, of course.
Yes. So police and fire said, we want nothing to do with this. And so thank God we organized a campaign. We got to the state electeds and they made sure that that bill died. It was literally buried in the budget in thousands of pages. Wow. And it did not make it in. So thank you for bringing that up and for the clarification, Ellen. So you've got a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes before you have 3 minutes before you have to go. I want to give these last couple of minutes to you for you so that you could highlight your reelection and we'll mention your dates again, and that we are fully supportive of your campaign.
Yeah, no, I mean, just thank you again. Just to remind everyone, in case someone didn't log on from the beginning, it's June 24th. The primary is June 24th. Early voting is June 14th through the 22nd. You can only vote in this election for me if you are a registered Republican. So I would just ask that in case you guys are not registered Republicans or you're in a different district, please encourage your friends and family to come out and vote. The turnout is extremely low in elections like this, and primaries, especially in Republican primaries, where, I mean, we kind of have our candidate for mayor, which is Curtis Lewa. So it's not like there's a real primary there. So the turnout is going to be extremely low. And that's why, we really need to push people to come out or vote by absentee, vote by mail, however they could, so that I can get reelected. I really, really appreciate all the support, and I'm really running on my record. I've been here for almost 2 terms now, and been a staunch advocate for public safety, against homeless shelters being placed in residential neighborhoods, not against homeless shelters, but against them being placed in residential neighborhoods. I've been a staunch fighter on the issues of anti-Semitism in college campuses and on the streets. In terms of composting, I don't know if anybody saw, but Councilmember Carr actually introduced a bill to make it voluntary instead of mandatory. It's been a really big issue. We've gotten so many emails from constituents about the composting. It's going to create a lot of issues and fines, and it's just a really big burden on our constituents. So we support making that voluntary. And there's so many other issues. Everybody can check out my social media, Councilwoman Ina Vernikov on X, on Instagram and Facebook. We're very active. If anybody wants to sign up for our newsletter, please shoot me an email. You know what, Marianne, am I able to put my email address in here?
You can.
I guess if I join the chat, I don't know.
Put it in comments.
Oh, I'm not sure if I could do that. Maybe you could just do that for me. It's ivernikov@council.nyc.gov. Vernikov, the first letter of my first name, Vernikov, my last name, at council.nyc.gov. So if anybody wants to reach out or be added to our newsletter, you're welcome to.
And how do they donate to your campaign? That's the next question.
Okay, to donate, I would need to send you a link. Let me get that to you right now. I'll have Troy
send it to me.
I'll have Troy send it to you right now. In terms of donations, and then I gotta run.
Yep.
The maximum to donate is $1,050. The max for matching is $175. Every dollar gets matched by $8. So 175 ends up being, I can't do the math right now. It's times 8.
Times 8.
Yeah. So it's actually a really nice amount of money. If someone donates, let's say $100, that's $900.
Okay.
Even $50 goes a long way. So whatever anybody wants to donate, because we already made matching funds, and now anything that we get gets matched. So, and that's only applicable if you live in New York City.
Gotcha.
There's some other regulations, but I don't want to confuse people right now. Basically, it's 175 is like the best donation that you could give, because that just multiplied by 8 and gives us a nice paycheck. So
gotcha.
we can advertise for our campaign.
Okay, fantastic. Well, what I'm going to do is, I just found your site. You're on the campaign contribution website. Let me jump back and put that in the chat right now. For those that are asking how to donate to the councilwoman, it's contribute.nycvotes.org campaign and her site. So it's right in the chat right now. I know you have to run. I thank you for your time, and we'll stay in touch with you. If you'd like to come back when you have more time, let us know. And we appreciate you being a retiree champion.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And look
have a
forward
great
to continuing to support you guys.
Thank you, and us to you. Bye. All right, guys. So you have that there. That was City Councilwoman Ina Vernikov, who's running for re-election in District 48. The dates are the same dates as we've been telling you. June 14th to the 22nd is early voting. And then the Republican primary, as all primaries, are June 24th. If you want to vote for her, you have to be a Republican to get her elected. So all our Staten Island people, make sure that you vote for Ina Vernikov. She is supporting us and has been on both of our bills. The first bill, she was actually a co-prime sponsor on with Councilman Barron, and she truly did support our issues as she is this year. So I'm very, very happy to be able to have introduced her to you and given you a chance to get to meet her. I know she's really busy, as many other council members are, and we've gotten so busy that most of my Fridays are booked. So I wanted to take this opportunity to start opening up my weeknights to be able to bring more council members to you, so that you get to see them and hear from them. So as election time comes, it's really, really important. Thanks, Roberta. I'm glad she's in your district. Know that she has been fully on our side from the beginning with no hesitation whatsoever. And she was also on the amicus in our litigation that we are going back to court with on Thursday. So thank you for doing that. Joe says, thanks for doing what is morally correct, not politically correct. I'm assuming you mean her too, but it's not just me, but yes. And as we've always said, we don't really care what their party lines are as an organization that is primarily concerned with protecting retiree healthcare. We would meet with anyone regardless of their party and vet them for what they are doing, that they would support a retiree's issue to support you. That way, then you know that that's what's like that good housekeeping stamp of approval, that they've got your back on this, and then you would vet all of your other candidates on the issues that are pertaining to your community. So hopefully Ina is your person, and you will vote for her come this June. So I'm going to call it an evening, and I got a lot of homework to do. Also, if you are coming on the bus trip with us, and I will be putting an email out on this shortly, we will most likely be seeing you guys not at 8:30, but I'm going to ask you to come a little earlier because we're going to have a press conference that morning, and I would love for you all to be there. So if you are hearing this message for the very first time, our bus trip is leaving, for those of you that registered for our bus trip at 8:30 in the morning. I need you to be there closer to 8 o'clock to do a press conference. We want to tell the city exactly what we're going to do and where we're going to fight it and who we're fighting. So come and meet us. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. See you soon.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout days pass by, maybe set in stone, but it's not too late now for you to change your tone.